Hello, friends. Welcome back to Ask a Bhante. So I have a question here today from Connor Verlekar, again posted in the comment section of the very first YouTube Ask a Bhante video that I made introducing it. So I've heard from various, at least Theravada teachings, that we should give without expecting anything in return. Does helping others count as giving? Also, is it ethical to give something to someone when you know that they are going to make unethical use of it, like they may use your money to buy drugs and alcohol? Namo Buddhaya. All right, so this question is on the topic of dana, or giving, generosity. Dana is very, very important in the practice of Buddhism, in the practice of going down the path, the Noble Eightfold Path. In the gradual practice of the Buddha, the very, very first thing is dana. This is practicing of letting go, generosity. The reason why this is so important is seen in the Noble Eightfold Path under Samma Sankappo, which is right intention or right thought. Right in there, there's three thoughts, three right thoughts. First one is Nekkhamma Sankappo, which is thought of renunciation. And what this means is that most people, when they think of renunciation, they think of monk's robe. But this is, and that's a form of renunciation, but this is not what this means. This means this is a thought, a mind of letting go instead of a mind of greed and covetousness and keeping things, right? It's a mind of letting go. And letting go is the whole practice. And letting go of greed, hatred, and delusion, letting go of the self, all these things. So letting go is this is why generosity, it starts there, right? Practicing letting go. And so you're right when you say that you should give without expecting anything in return. There's a sutta where the Buddha, goes over the various reasons why people might give, and one of them is giving just because giving is good, and that's a praised one. So you're giving, understanding that there won't be anything in return, right? And one of the things that I tend to teach in terms of generosity is there's a term I came up with called being a generosity ninja. What that means is, like, you're looking to do good things for people and they never know that it's you. They never know who did it, right? So that's being a generosity ninja. It's like getting in there, doing a good deed, and then getting out. And you don't need any recognition of it. You don't need somebody telling you, oh, you're so wonderful that you did this. You just have it in your mind, in your heart, that I did this good deed. And indeed, that's part of what's the Buddha called silanusati, which means a recollection of your good deeds, right? That you can use when times when you're very judgmental and self-critical and negative. Like, hey, I did these good things. And again, that's not to build up your ego. It's to counteract this really negative, critical, judgmental thoughts, to understand that you've done these positive, good things. That's a very good thing to be able to reflect on. So yes, it's very important to give without expecting anything in return. However, your mind is still going to do that. This is why giving is important. Giving is just another part of the practice. You give something to somebody. Watch your mind. What's happening, right? What is going on in your mind? Do you see a little attachment to, needing, or wanting some kind of recognition, like maybe even just a thank you, right? So you can think about it in terms of, you're driving and you let somebody in traffic, and what do we expect, right? Or you open the door for somebody, going into a convenience store. What do we kind of automatically expect, right? We expect that the person that we let in is going to wave, Or we expect that the person we hold the door for is going to say thank you, just as even like a recognition that you exist and that you did these good deeds. However, what sometimes what do you get, right? People are just on their phones and they're just walking past. They don't even they barely even acknowledge that you existed and that you even opened the door for them, right? Or the person gets in the car, you let them in and they get in front of you, and then they don't do the wave, right? They don't do the wave. So that's normal. That's gonna happen. And so we can watch our mind. We can see that I can't believe who raised these people. They have no common courtesy, no manners or anything like that. Watch that, because that's your mind that is being attached to the result of that good deed. And so, does helping others count as giving? And yes, it is. It's letting go. Any kind of letting go, any kind of generosity, right? Dana is not just about money. It's about time. It's about effort. It's about doing things, right? This is this is all giving of yourself. You could be spending your time doing whatever. You could be spending your money and your effort, all of these things. You could be doing all kinds of things, but you are taking that time, taking that effort, taking that money, and putting it towards a skillful, positive, generous use. So that is, important. That yes, to me, opening the door for somebody, or when you're at the register and you see, you're in front of a person, a cashier, calling them by their name, saying hello, being kind and nice to them, that's generosity. That's letting go. Because you could have been just wrapped up in your phone and there's like me, and what are people saying on my Facebook, and am I getting enough likes and all these kind of things. But no, you were able to make that connection. You were able to let go of that attachment, of that ego, of that identity a little bit, just for a small time, to do an act of kindness for somebody else. That's letting go. That's generosity. That's definitely a type of generosity. Now, get to the tough question, right? The tough question. Is it ethical to give something to someone when you know that they are going to make unethical use of it? Like they may use your money to buy drugs and alcohol. So, I suppose we can go through this question in a couple different ways, right? Is it unethical to give something to someone knowing that they are going to use it unethically? If you give, like, something to somebody, like, I don't know, like chemicals or a weapon or something like that, and then they go and use it to kill people, then yeah, it's probably best that you don't, give it to them. They can, make their. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that them using that, is part of your karma. They chose to do that action, so it's their karma. But I would say that to use a different example, which I think I kind of, when you mention here, using your money to buy drugs and alcohol, right? So that you would think about that like. What brings to mind there, and I think what you're getting at is like maybe like a homeless person, right? And so I've seen that listening to people talk about it, like talk radio and things like that back in the day. People talk about like, oh, I went and I saw these homeless people and I went to the store and I got them all kinds of sandwiches and I gave them the sandwiches and they didn't want the sandwiches, they wanted money. Like these kind of things, right? And they threw the sandwich in the garbage. I've heard that from multiple people. The important thing to understand about that is your generosity, your act is not diminished by what people do with what you give them, right? The fact, if you go out of your way and you give somebody money, and they go and gamble it all away, or they go and use it for drugs and alcohol, that's not on you. That you, out of the kindness of your heart, out of the practice of letting go, and out of compassion and empathy, you saw that they were in need and you helped them, right? Now, knowing, if you know that they might use it in an unskillful way, it might be more skillful on you to try to see if you can help them in a more skillful way that they're not going to be able to use. But that doesn't mean that you just giving money, your generosity is diminished. So don't be too attached to the result of your generosity. But if you see that you can be generous and be giving in a more skillful way, that's going to definitely help them and not enable them, which is important. Then you can do it that way instead, because enabling somebody is now. So if you keep giving something to somebody and like, okay, it's like, maybe you're been seeing the same person over and over and over again, and you just keep giving them money and that they're just using it unskillfully, then yeah, I would say it's probably better to like I said just a minute ago, to look at a more skillful way to help them. Maybe, get to know them, bring them to a place, something like that. So, you can see that see the opportunities and understand in the situation itself. So, yeah, I think that's it. Well, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next Ask a Bhante video. Sukhi Hotu, may you be happy. Practice well and be well.